Okay, this is David Hoddick, the CTO of this company, and I have one question from Dave. Production with OSI has not started yet. That's correct. We are still in the process of working out the final details of the actual device or pieces that they are making for us. And another question, no sales yet? John, can you answer that one?
Well, sales are something we will not discuss in this webinar. Actually, as I said, I have to do a press release beforehand since I don't have a full audience. But as sales occurs that we think are significant, those will be announced to the public.
And another question, price per unit.
The price per unit is just under $30,000 retail.
Okay. And margins, John.
Our margins are very attractive. I can't give the details of that, but I can safely say they are very attractive.
David, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Mark. I'm the chairman of the company. Going back to the first question, our manufacturer, OSI Systems, have been building the photoreceptors, which is really probably the key to our technology since day one. And because they're the manufacturer, our gross margins, which John just sort of hinted at, I think are superb. David, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Michael. I have another question, and it's, given MIT's position with everything in place, what barriers still remain before you can enter the marketplace? Michael, please.
David, can you repeat that, please?
Sure. Given MIT's position with everything in place, what barriers will remain before you can enter the marketplace?
That's a complex question because you've got two issues. You've got the ability to get the product out, which I think we've solved through our alliance with the OSI Systems. And the second one is our ability to support the product and introduce it into a market that's not, you know, for lack of a better word, used to a different product. They're all used to taking their test tubes and what have you. So I think we solved the first thing with the OSI Systems. The second thing is going to be our ability to raise the funding and support our ability to put out an absolutely brand new revolutionary product.
Okay.
I think that's sort of end of our story. I mean, it's a complicated product to the extent that you have tremendous software. You got, I think, beautiful hardware, and then you got the regiment that you have to wrap it all around. You can't tell somebody just to take it and use it. You got to teach them how to use it. You got to support it, and then when they do that, they find out that it's 10 cents per test. Incredible, easy to use. Don't have to have a degreed microbiologist. You can have smart high school student, and that's what we got to do. Next step, please.
We have another question concerning the new version of the system. When do we think it will be available? John, have you got an idea on that?
We are working with, the first step obviously is to get something up and running, okay, and that's where we're focused. In the first quarter of next year, we are going to be working with our contract manufacturer to make a couple of changes to the one that we feel as though is is probably, functionally doesn't have an awful lot of significance, but it will certainly help with sales, is we're going to be changing the skin on the instrument to make it more attractive. And we hope to engage in that for release probably sometime in early to mid-second quarter.
Okay, thank you. A question, why don't you go to a Cargill or someone of that stature and get some real strategic partner instead of going it alone? John, can you?
We are looking for strategic partners. We have actually spoken to Cargill. I can't say anything more than that, but we have spoken to Cargill. We have spoken to a number of other people in the industry like Thermo Fisher Scientific, AES Chemunex, Becton Dickinson, and we see them all as potential partners. But for us, right now we have to get online. Once we're online, it greatly improves our negotiating position with any of these alliance partners. So we're going to wait for that.
Okay. And someone wants to know who's doing marketing for the system, and that would be John.
Yeah, that would be me. And so if you can look at my bio online, or if you want more information, for sure, just contact me. I'd be happy to tell you.
Okay, let's see. Assuming the signing into law of the Small Business Jobs and Credit Act of 2010 will management pursue business plan financing through mechanisms of the Small Business Lending Fund component of the Act?
Well, actually, we looked into this here, and that is limited to 5% of your tangible weighted assets. So for us, that's a very, very, very small number. So it's really not worth our while to pursue that path.
Okay, of the 100 unit order to OSI, how many of these are pre-sold?
We're not at liberty to answer that question.
Okay. The relationship between OSI and MMTC seems very close and mutually beneficial. Do you see this relationship growing and perhaps becoming even stronger in the future? John?
Absolutely.
You want me to expand on that, John, a little bit?
Yes.
It's entirely up to you.
Well, as we said earlier, they build the photoreceptors for our units. They've been involved with the company for a relatively long time. They've now been involved enough to build production quality units. As John said earlier, we expect to see shippable units fourth quarter this year. So I think that's tangible enough to say that we've got a fantastic relationship with them.
Okay. What are the three big challenges management is facing to bring the device to market and make it successful? And what actions are being considered to address these problems? John, how about that one?
All John will say is funding, funding, funding.
Well, that's clearly, the more funding we get, the more we can do at once. And the more we can do in parallel, and the better we can do it. Obviously, so that's clearly one of the major ones. In terms of any technical challenges, we really don't see any. There's nothing that cannot be resolved in our technical scope. David has done an excellent job managing that, and what we can do is by adding more lab technicians and by adding more equipment, we can do a lot of the things in parallel instead of serial, and that includes starting off the R&D program with to get to the bacterial strain level, as well as adding more species to the library. In terms of hurdles to overcome, again, there are no major hurdles that we can't solve with enough funding. Like as Michael said, funding is one of our major issues for sure, and the more we can have there, the better we can perform.
And I think specifically the issue is we've spent in the 5 years I've been involved with the company, 5+ now. We've put over $13 million into this project. We think we've got about another $2.5 to $3 million to go before we absolutely top this thing into a real commercial product, meaning something you can push a button and see what kind of problem your product, pet food, real food, what have you, might have, E. coli, cholera, or whatever. And that's what we'll keep pushing at. And we'll accomplish it. It's not a problem. It's a lot of hard work, as most of you in the investment community listening to us know. And that's what we'll do. Back to you, David.
Okay, another one for you. Michael, has any media sources contacted MMTC about the MIT-1000? And if so, which ones? Has any media sources contacted us about the MIT-1000? And if so, which ones?
I can't ask you to repeat that because I don't even understand the question.
No, I think what he's asking for is, have we been contacted by any PR/IR firms, primarily PR firms, to handle our business? And there's more than we can count.
Maybe 100 per week. I don't know.
It's daily. And what we're trying to do is that we feel as though to launch the PR campaign for the product should be done after we have started production. To do it ahead of time probably isn't going to be beneficial to us, and especially with limited funds.
Okay. There's one last one here. It's been asked a couple times by several people. They're concerned about dilution of the stock price of the stock. And so can one of you address that, maybe Michael?
Yep. Well, I think that's a really good question. And, I deal with that in my mind every friggin' day, considering how much money I put in this company, and Tony Frank and Vic Hollander and Steve Ellis and the rest of the principal shareholders. The issue you got is with intellectual property, not real property. And so what you have to do, in my opinion, and I can be certainly proven wrong, is we've had to issue shares because we had no hard assets. And that really is, at the end of the day, the issue. We feel we've got a great product. It's been approved by every senior laboratory in the country. NAMSA, AOAS. We just have to believe that we've got this thing and keep pushing on. And everyone that's listening and look at our balance sheet knows that we've written our checks. So, we need more money. We need to keep funding coming forward and get across the path to getting the product built. Anything else, Dave?
I do not see any more questions.
Okay. God bless you. John, you did a great job. Great job.
Hey, thank you all for attending. And as I said, this will be a recording. This will be up on our webinar, on our website rather, probably within a day, if you'd like to hear it again. And if you have any questions, again, please don't hesitate to contact any of us. Thank you again. Bye.
God bless all.